When I was first introduced to you, I was told the story of how you founded TinyCo, which is a company that you somehow got the rights to, like Family Guy and Harry Potter and Marvel. But when you were going into that, did you have an extensive background in like getting like rights to things or even like game studios in general?
No. I generally, when I've started a company, I knew nothing about anything in that space. So I've always had no founder market fit. When we started TinyCo, I knew nothing about games and I knew nothing about licensing. In fact, the way we ended up licensing Family Guy, which was our first license, was brute force. It was me and this guy, Andrew Green. And what had happened for us is, so we'd started the company, our business was making mobile games. Okay. We would make free-to-play mobile games monetized through in-app purchases. And the way I started that company actually is a friend of mine had started a mobile ad network. And he was like, hey, what are you working on? And at that point, me and my co-founder had been working on something that we'd worked through like 10 different ideas that didn't go anywhere. We never really gave any of them any time to blossom. And so he was like, my friend was like, make a mobile game. We'll push it to the top of the iOS app store. You'll get 200,000 downloads in one day. And then you'll have a business. So I just listened to him and said, fuck it. Nothing else is working. Let me try it. So we went and did that in 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks, you actually ended up on the App Store and all of that happened?
3 weeks we submitted it, and maybe it was a week or two for it to be approved by by Apple. So let's say 5 weeks. Sure. And we launched it. In the first day, it did probably $20,000 in revenue. And so we were like, okay, this is a business now. And the first month, we did probably $750,000 or something like that in revenue. So up until that point, I didn't know anything about mobile games. And then I learned it by trial and error, by hiring people who are experts in that space. And that's actually how we started doing licensing. I hired this guy, Andrew Green, who's really a co-founder ultimately at TinyCo. Our business was making original IP games, and the cost of customer acquisition went up so much that we were like, we can't spend profitably to acquire customers. So we would be able to go and make a game and then spend $10-20 million acquiring customers and generate $30-40 million, $50 million out the other side. That stopped working. So we were like, how do we get 50 million people to download a game without having to spend any money on doing customer acquisition? So Andrew and I came up with this idea of let's go license a game, license a property where people love the fucking thing so much that we'll be able to just tell them there's a game coming out with this property that you love, and 50 million people will show up to download the game. So we came up with Family Guy, and we didn't know anything about licensing. We didn't know any experts in licensing. So what we did was we just found the right person at Fox and went to them and said, hey, we want to license this. We're awesome, and we're going to be good at this. And they said, cool, let's have a meeting. So we went down.
Just like that. You just went to them. You were like, we know exactly what we're doing. And they had the meeting.
I think you'd be surprised by how much of the world is just go reach out to the person and make a clear value prop. And if the timing fits on their end of like, that's actually what they're looking for, all kinds of people will respond. The way actually we raised money for TinyCo, we raised $18 million from Andreessen Horowitz. And the way we did that was I cold messaged Ben Horowitz on LinkedIn and said, hey, I'm here in Silicon Valley and doing a startup. We need money. Give us some. And he replied, and we set up a meeting and pitched them. So, I think that whole concept of cold message people.
Like ask and you shall receive.
Yeah. And for all of time, in all of my Instagram account, my Twitter account, I've always had DMs open because you never know who's going to hit you up. And one of the things actually I love about Silicon Valley is everyone has this concept. When they meet anybody, they're like, this person that I'm meeting who is nobody today could be the next Mark Zuckerberg. And so everyone treats the new person they meet with respect. And so anyway, we cold message Fox, and we did a bunch of meetings with them. We did a lot of great work on coming up with what a great Family Guy game would look like. And, we just did all of this legwork. And then we had Marc Andreessen on our board. We had Marc Andreessen call this guy at Fox, who was the president of Fox, and tell him that, hey, I'm an investor in this company, TinyCo, they want to work with you guys on making a Family Guy game. So that got pushed to the guy who was making the decision. Then we met this guy, Tom Rothman, who used to be the head of Fox Films. And we got introduced to him, and we called him up and said, hey, Tom, we're looking, we didn't know how to approach him. So we were like, we have a seat open for our board of directors, and we think you'd be a great fit. And he's like, what are you talking about? And we were like, well, really what we need help with is trying to get this Family Guy license. The decision's being made by this guy. And Tom was like, that guy has been my protege for 10 years. I'll call him up right now. And so he hangs up the phone with us and calls the guy right away and says, you got to work with these guys. So we just did 20 different things that made those guys be like, we got to work with these guys. In fact, the call that we had where they gave us the license, they were like, we're afraid of what you'll do if we don't give you the license because of all of the crazy shit you've already done and all the people around us that have contacted us saying you got to work with these guys.
That's so funny. It's like you went you found all different side doors, made your own side door.
Yeah. We also licensed Harry Potter from Warner Brothers, and Harry Potter is this grossly under monetized IP. Because, J.K. Rowling is so specific about what she wants.
Right.
And that one we got in a weird way. We went and pitched Warner Brothers and said, hey, we've got this concept for a Harry Potter game. They loved it. But then the deal kind of lost momentum inside their bureaucracy. And then Andreessen Horowitz does this thing where that they call industry days, where they'll bring in CEOs from different industries and meet with the portfolio companies. And it's great for the CEOs because they just get to see what's coming next. It's like when I get to hang out with you, I'm like, oh, this is the future. And that's how these CEOs feel. So we got a meeting with the Warner Brothers CEO. It was in Menlo Park. I didn't want to drive all the way down there. So Andrew got his pitch together and drove down there. And then was just like, this is who we are. This is what we do. And the guy was like, this is awesome. The Family Guy game you launched is doing really well. Why aren't you working with us? And Andrew was like, we want to work with you guys on Harry Potter. We have this concept that your team loved. And he's like, what happened? And Andrew's like, the deal just kind of lost deal momentum. And so the CEO just took out his phone and messaged somebody on the team. And then all the roadblocks went away and we got the Harry Potter license.
It's so interesting how even intuitively, if I think that I want to go to a big company and get them to do something with me, I'm going to try to find the person that I'm the closest to on a ladder. But really, it's like you guys just skipped all of that and went to the top each time.
We go everywhere. So we just brute force it, which is like, oh, this person's your niece. We're going to get to that person. This is who you are. We're going to get to you, and we're going to get to all the people that report to you, the people above you, everything.
It's like if you see Sully has viewed your LinkedIn profile, it's over.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Be careful.